I'd like to invite up for the next presentation Grantley Keezer. Give you a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And Clifford Sarmardin, could you come up as well?
Well, thank you very much again, everyone, for inviting me today. This is an absolute honour to induct this man, Clifford Sarmardin. I was speaking a little bit earlier about I was very fortunate to be in the corner for a great friend of mine, Ludmore and do for a lot of his fights, and one of them was against Canelo Alvarez at a baseball stadium in Mexico, a place called Veracruz. And Ludmore went 12 hard rounds with Canelo Alvarez, who's to this day, that was 10 years ago, to this day is still regarded as the world's best boxer pound for pound. And Ludmore fought all the greats of his era. Miguel Cotto, who was a great world champion, said that Ludmore was his hardest fight. He fought the likes of Manny Pacquiao. So that gives you an idea of what a great fighter Ludmore was. Ludmore didn't lose too many, but he did lose to this man, Cliff Sarmardin. And it was a great performance by Cliff. I'm sure he won't be embarrassed by me saying that he was an absolutely brilliant boxer. Blazing hand speed, beautiful silky moves. He had an extraordinary career. It only went for 4.5 years. He retired at a very young age, but he was undefeated when he retired, never lost, undefeated in 24 fights with a majority brilliant career. He was at the time in the mid-1990s regarded as Australia's brightest talent, and many people, including me and many other people, said that he was destined to be a great world champion. I just wonder if we can just have a little chat, Cliff, about your career. Where did you start? You're from Mount Isa, but you started boxing in Victoria?
No, I was born in Cloncurry. I started fighting guys in my pop had a boxing tent. As most fighters, they usually get the start from boxing tents, and I started there. Had my first fight probably when I was grade 1 or something. Started there.
And your professional career started. You were down in Melbourne for quite some long.
Yeah, I moved to Melbourne when I was 16 to go with Keith. We were supposed to go down there for the Olympics and all that sort of stuff. But as the association league and all that sort of stuff was going on, so we just didn't worry about it. We just hung around as a turn professional.
Yeah. And as I was just saying, your career only lasted 4.5 years, but you packed a lot into it. 24 fights in those 4 years. And you beat some of Australia's guys that I used to know very, very well. Darren Miller, Glenn Sutherland, very, very good amateur fighters. Craig Peavy, who was an exceptional Australian champion. And you beat all of them very, very convincingly. What do you remember of those fights? What do you regard as your toughest fight?
The toughest fight, like I say, the whole... I thought it'd be against an opponent, like I said, like a Leslie Barry. You know, as a fighter, you always hope to have a hard fight like Leslie Barry, you know, because that's your ultimate test. My actually hardest fight was was against myself when I had a fight when I was flat.
Yeah.
When Leicester fought Colin Grove, I had a fight in that fight. I was flat as all shit, didn't want to fucking fight. And most fighters know when you're flat and you don't want to do nothing, they didn't want to fight. I was going to quit the first round, but you know. You couldn't, so that was the hardest fight. He was against himself.
Yeah, wow. What do you remember, say, of your fight against, say, someone like Craig Peavy, who was a very good champion? I called a lot of Craig's fights on Sky Channel in the old days. He was a very, very tough guy from Newcastle.
Yeah, no, Craig was tough. I remember watching him when I was a kid. It was an honour to fight him. Like Barry, same with most guys when you're fighting, they always some years old and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, Craig was the same, so yeah.
And what about someone like a Darren Miller?
Yeah, Darren Miller, he was
a very good boxer.
He was a good fighter, tough, bloody, poor person,
Yeah. And what about sparring? I mean, you must have sparred lots of very, very good fighters down in Melbourne.
Oh, mate, Les was the best.
Yeah.
Les had, at the time we had Leicester, Hot Rod Car, Mad Dog Miller,
wow.
You know, so that gym was a good gym. Our bloody boxing with no bigger than a fucking bone box. So it was, like I said, sparring Leicester, you know, when everybody that sparred Leicester knew what Leicester was about. Like Leicester was fucking give the fucking Leicester. I say once we're in Melbourne, once we Hobart, the Australian titles, we pull up Melbourne. This is when I used to be with Dustin Rich before I moved to Melbourne with Keith. Les broke my nose when I was about fucking 15. I was pissing blood for about 2 weeks, didn't know the fights, the Australian titles. Like I say, anybody that's fight Les was like, had held nothing back, he'd not keep without fucking that's what boxing is all about.
Was there any talk of you two actually fighting? I mean,
No.
Because you're from the same gym.
Yeah, I did. Just because at the end he was on one of these, getting a bit old and that sort of stuff, so he was still a good fighter under that.
Yeah.
But that's what about it.
And then towards the end of your career, I say towards the end of your career, you're only fighting for 4 years. You fought Lupmore. Lupmore came over from South Africa and was like regarded as very, very hot. What do you remember from that fight? You won on points.
Yeah, it wasn't bad fight. Well, at the time I was just moved to Sydney with Bennett, Yeah, it didn't do too bad. Could have done a lot better.
We still won.
Yeah, still done better.
So then what happened after that? I mean, as I was saying to you when I was talking a little earlier, I regard you as a bit of a ghost. You shone across the fight games like a meteor, and then nothing was heard of you again. I mean, you went to America and you won a good fight over there in the United States, and so you're undefeated at 24-0. What happens then?
Oh, I just like most fighters just get mismanaged and bloody get ripped off by everybody and just lose interest. In the many years since, we're talking like you were fighting, say, 95, 96, in the years since, like in a few years after, did you think about fighting again? Did you think about, well, I'm pretty good at this, and you would have seen what Lovemore was doing? I wish there was that pirates, yeah.
Really, yeah. But you still must look back at your career though with a great deal of pride. I mean, people that followed you knew what a brilliant fighter you were.
Oh, I got to live the dream of being a professional fighter.
Yeah.
Like I said, as an amateur, I was very lucky from day one. You were one of the good ones, a professional fighter, and got to live the dream.
Yeah. And you're still involved in boxing now?
Oh, yeah, I've got a couple of guys in the house that was training coaches.
Yeah.
That's right.
But if they've got anywhere near the skill level that you had, they'll go pretty well, I'd say. Yeah. Well, Clifford Sarmardin, everyone, it's an absolute pleasure to here we are. Clifford Sarmardin, Queensland Boxing Hall of Fame, undefeated, 24-0. Not too many fighters can say that they outclassed the world champion, but he did.
Well done. Thank you. Thank you very much.